Mr. Hoopengardner, come on in.
Hi.
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Just wanted to have a quick meeting to go over a few minor changes we're going to be implementing in order to avoid running afoul of the new administration.
The new administration?
In Washington. The Trump administration.
Ah. All right.
Looking at the roster, I see a few students in your homeroom are transgender.
Yes.
Well, 2, actually. Not anymore.
Not anymore, meaning you're transferring them to another homeroom?
No, they'll remain in your homeroom. They're just not transgender anymore.
Has either of them expressed an intention to change how they identify?
Not to my knowledge.
Then I don't understand. On what basis are you saying they aren't trans anymore?
As a matter of policy.
That's dismissive and disrespectful.
Look, I'm sorry we didn't have a chance to consult you on this ahead of time, but don't take it personally.
I'm not saying that it's dismissive and disrespectful to me.
Who else are we talking about?
The students.
Oh, yeah.
What does that even mean? They're not trans anymore as a matter of policy.
Just that we're going to address them by the name we have on record for them and treat them as their biological gender instead of their chosen gender.
It's not correct to say chosen gender. Trans people don't just choose a different gender.
Well, whatever.
Not whatever. It's ignorant and cruel. You, or whoever came up with this, have no idea what you're talking about, and you're just deciding things.
Right, and speaking of which, there's another decision that affects you, which...
I can't wait to hear this.
You put in a request to have the director of the African American History Museum come in to speak to your second block class?
That's right.
Request denied.
Why? He came and spoke to my class last year, and there was no issue.
That was last year.
So? The curriculum is the same. My lesson plans are the same. We're starting our unit on the 1960s next week. Plus, it's February.
What's that got to do with it?
Black History Month. I invited the director of the African American History Museum to talk to my students about the civil rights movement to enhance our studying of the 1960s during Black History Month.
Yeah, stop doing that.
Which part?
All of it.
20th century American history is part of the standards for that course. How am I supposed to teach about America in the 20th century without covering the 60s?
Okay, fine. You don't have to skip the 60s entirely, just...
What part of the 60s am I allowed to tell my students about?
Space program. That was cool. Kids will like that.
I covered the space program, but more happened during the 60s than the space program.
What about...
Vietnam?
Ooh, better leave it out. That's still a sore spot for a lot of people.
Plus, it crosses over with the civil rights movement at several points.
There you go. See, now you're thinking.
What else?
What?
What else from the 60s am I allowed to teach my students? So far, I've got the space program.
What else? Mets won the World Series.
Perfect. Good meeting.
I agree. Went way better than I thought it would.
You know this is bullshit, don't you? We're making a mockery of education, depriving students of learning the truth about the history of their own country, and for some of them, denying them even the most basic respect of validating their identity and calling them by their right name. And we're doing it to placate a bunch of thin-skinned reactionary bigots who don't think public schools should even exist.
I appreciate how you feel about this, and if you think you will not be able to implement the changes we've discussed, I have been authorized by the new administration to offer you a buyout of your remaining contract. If you accept, all you need to do is fill out the paperwork.
This is a handwritten note that says, "Do you want to not work here anymore? Check yes or no."
No maybes.
I can read, thank you. How can you afford to offer people buyouts? I thought we just had our budget slashed.
Oh, we got all that money back. I just blame the low test scores on DEI. Have a Sharpie here if you need it.